that was the classic outro solo from Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits, played by Mark Knopfler. I thought it was only appropriate that I should wear the cowboy shirt and the headband that... Oh! Didn't mean to still have that on. Up to now, I've only posted myself playing that on the banjo and the ukulele. I've had a few requests asked me from the tab off the back of those videos, which have proved quite popular. So I've stopped wasting my time trying to dream up which strange instruments I could play it on next. I decided to do a proper lesson. I've written out the tab and I've done 2 different speed backing tracks. You can find the link where you can download them in the description below. I'm going to demonstrate how to play the solo step by step. Then after I've shown you how to play the solo, I'm going to show you these previously undiscovered notes. At least I've not found any other transcriptions including these notes on the internet. And after that I shall show you how to recreate that classic Strat sound that Mark Knopfler gets on this song. Okay, so let's get going. The first thing I'm going to do is demonstrate how to play the solo half time. So this is slowed right down and a close up on my hands. Here we go. So let's go through this lick by lick. So it starts off on the 12th fret, 3rd string with a bend. So the first 2 bars, it starts off with a bend on the 12th fret on the 3rd string. In the next 2 bars we've got this pull off section. You'll notice I'm not playing with a pick. Mark Knopfler plays with his fingers, and there's certain sections of this solo that are impossible if you're playing it with a pick. Well, not impossible, they're really difficult with a pick. So the next bit, there's 2 ghost notes, kind of like that, and it's this is the lick. That's one of my favourite ones in the whole thing, actually. Then the next part, this has got one of the bits that I've not seen anyone transcribe before, but this is what I think it is. Then he plays both those notes. Again, that's tricky with a pick because you need to pick it with those 2 fingers. And one of my other favourite licks is this one. This is one that's tricky to play with a pick, this bit in particular. Then this is another part which I think I've discovered. He kind of does a trip. Do it slowly, it's like this. I've just seen it written as a 16th note, like a... But I think, if you slow it down... And then of course the fast bit, this is the classic bit, picking pretty much every note, so it's this. Same second time, except he does a little pickup. And the very end bit, as it kind of fades, it's... Now this end bit, he does a kind of weird bend. He kind of goes down in semitones. It's a kind of... It's that kind of thing. Then back to the main riff. It's sometimes more complicated with these simple clean guitar sounds to copy them. The sound with lots of effects on, you can kind of copy the effects, but this is literally all in the fingers. Mark Knopfler, more than any other guitarist, the sound's all about his fingers and the way he plucks the strings. He's using his thumb and his first two fingers, and he's kind of pulling at the strings and plucking them, and it gives it that really individual sound. It's very kind of touch sensitive. But the most important thing with this sound is it needs to be played on a Strat. Apparently he played it on a 61 Strat, and he played to a Fender Twin on the recording, from what I've discovered. So really I'm just looking for a clean Fender-y sound. Now I played it on my 50s Strat, which is slightly different to the one that he used, so it's a slightly different sound. It's got a maple fingerboard rather than the rosewood fingerboard, but it's as close as I can get because I haven't got a rosewood fingerboard one. This is the DI sound of the guitar, so you can hear what it sounds like going straight in. So it's pretty thin and weedy, but you can hear that bridge and middle pickup together. So the first thing I did was put on an amp sim. I put on this Friedman Buxom Betty, which gives you that kind of Fender-y tone. It's not completely clean, it's a little bit distorted. It gives it that amp sound, it takes off the top and the bottom. But to get it a little bit closer, I used Guitar Rig. I didn't use any of the amps on this. If you were going to use any of the amps on this, then the closest one is probably the Twang Reverb, which I don't think is a model of a Twin, that's a model of a Vibreverb, one of which I've got over there. So if anyone wants me to do an A-B comparing the actual amp with this plug-in, then leave me a comment and I'll see what I can do. But anyway, I've just used, in Guitar Rig, I've just used the Spring Reverb. So this is what it sounds like with the Spring Reverb. And then I added a Pultec EQ to try and match the sound a little bit better. Just gave it a bit more presence, I felt. And then finally I put it through an 1176 compressor. And then I equalised it slightly. What have I done here? Let's have a look. So I've taken some of the bottom end and boosted a little bit at the top end. Let's start, we're getting into the realms of it not sounding very good on its own, but this was to make it sit in the mix properly, similar to the original track. And then finally I put a plate reverb on it via a send. And then I play it with the whole track. So I think it's pretty close, but that's how I did it anyway. There you go. So I've discovered some new notes that I didn't find on any transcriptions I found online. Now I'm not saying I'm the first person to hear them, but they weren't on a few of the well-known transcription sites that I found and had a look at after I'd done my transcription. Now I discovered them by slowing it down to half speed using Cubase. The first one I discovered is in the double stops in bar 7. Now I'd seen it written as either one or the other note, so either playing the second string, which he does on the first part of the lick, and then just the top string on the second part of the lick. I think he's actually playing the C and the G together. Here's the close-up demo from me playing it earlier. So this is what it sounds like in half time, and this is why I think I can hear it. You can hear the last one that sort of falls off, but on those first three it definitely seems to be playing the C and the G on the first and the second string on the 8th fret. Next part I uncovered is going into bar 11, where he does this lick. And it's actually, most people I've seen it transcribed as just 16th notes, but I think actually it's a kind of triplet thing. So it's this section. I've written it as a chromatic ascending thing. So if you just listen to the right hand side, the guitar's slightly panned, so it's a little bit clearer. Here we go. There's definitely an extra note in there, whether it's chromatic or not, still not sure, but that seems to work. Could be ghost notes. The last one I discovered is just as the song's fading, one of the bends, he kind of, as he comes down out of the bend, he kind of stops on the semitone in between on the way down. It's this one. Again, I'll just play the right hand side as it's easier to hear as it's on the fade out. It's quite tricky to play. It's easy to play at that speed, but when you're doing it at full speed it's a bit tricky. The really little details probably doesn't really matter for playing the rest of the solo, but I just thought they were quite interesting as I hadn't heard them before until I slowed it down to half speed. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe, hit like, also leave me a comment, that would be great if you could. I put a link in the description for the tab for this solo, and in there also I've put the full speed backing track and the half speed backing track. Any other solos you'd like me to cover in a video, please leave it in the comments and let me know, and I'll see you on the next video.